traders? Happy Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. But as usual, I'm going to go ahead and provide you guys with an update and let you guys know exactly how my trading went for the day. So let's jump right into it. And as you guys can see from the screen, it was a red day overall on my account, right? Down $58. And in terms of how I did day trading wise, I only traded SQQQ today and I did not touch TQs at all. So I was able to make $216 on SQs, right? So I was very grateful that although I didn't hit my daily goal of $300, right, I was still able to recover a decent amount that, was given back from my swing trades falling, right? So as my swing trades began to fall and it brought the NASDAQ future down, right, I was able to make money on the inverse ETF, SQQQ. So that was, nice just being able to recover some of that loss there. But in terms of my actual filled orders, you guys can see I had a lot less orders today than I typically do. And so that's, normally a good sign, meaning I didn't overtrade. And so as you guys can see, I started trading at 631 and I stopped at 646. So I literally was only trading for 15 minutes today. And let me go ahead and break down, my trades and let you guys know how I was able to profit and why I decided to walk away so quick today. But, as far as what I saw going on pre-market session, it was pretty much trading the way it has been all pre-market this week where, it's not really establishing a clear direction. It's more just consolidating, trading between the top and bottom VWAP, right? And so heading into market open, this is what I was pretty much looking out for. So I noticed that, we ended up dropping, right? And so during the pre-market, we're pretty much just trading sideways. But I noticed that as we approached the EMA here, right, we ended up getting rejected and falling, right? And so that gave me a good indication that the EMA would be a potential resistance area, right? And that there was a chance that if it approached this area again, it can get rejected as it did during the pre-market session and, end up pulling on back to the bottom VWAP. So that's what I was pretty much looking out for. And that was the one play, that, kept me interested. And so what I ended up seeing was right as the NASDAQ, opened, this thing started to shoot up. And it approached the areas of previous resistance where it previously got rejected during the pre-market session, as I mentioned to you guys, right? On that bigger time frame, you guys can clearly see that there was an EMA that was acting as a bit of a resistance, right? So that's what I ultimately saw, and doesn't mean it had to go according to plan, right? So on the bigger time frame, this thing could have either pushed up, broken above the EMA, and then had some nice room to gap up, or it could have gotten rejected and continue to sell off and break this support, right? So I was looking out for one of those two things to happen. But as you guys can see, it was pretty much just consolidating and trading sideways, right? There was lots of consolidation, and I personally think the reason for that is because of the fact that we are at more of a critical point, right? We're determining if the NASDAQ future wants to use this EMA as a resistance, where it'll get rejected and start to sell off even more, or if now that we approach the SMA line, right, this green line here that has acted as a resistance before, and now that we are testing it as a support, right, is this previous resistance level going to become a new support level, right? Well, we don't know, right? That's what we are potentially looking out for. And so, but in terms of my actual trade, as you guys can see, right, I saw it get rejected once pre-market. And so as it approached the area again, it made sense for me why it could potentially end up getting rejected again. And so that's what I ended up, focusing on. That's why I only focused on SQs today and not TQs. And so where was my actual money made? Well, as the market pushed up, as I mentioned, it gapped up, became overextended, right? Got rejected where it previously did. And once I saw it start to sell off, I got into SQs, right? And as it started to, continuously dip, I started to add more to SQs. I locked in a lot of my trade, around this area because there was potential for it to potentially bounce, given that it has been bouncing at the middle VWAP. And once it bounced and started to break below the EMA again, that's where I took my last trade, right? And I was able to ride it back down here where that's where I cut my trade. And so given the fact that, within 15 minutes, the trade ended up playing out, almost accordingly, like, just how I thought it would, then, and given also the fact that we are at such a critical point where this thing wants to decide if it's going to end up selling off or break or pushing up, right? I felt that there was definitely going to be a big chance that it was going to start trading sideways and really consolidating, right? That it was going to be really choppy. And so it ultimately ended up playing out in my favor, right? Because as this thing ended up pushing on down, right, and I was able to walk away with my profits, this thing ended up trading super choppy the remainder of the day. This thing would push up, push down, push up, push down. So there was lots of direction change. And this thing even ended up peaking out again, making new highs before it got rejected, fell back down to the bottom VWAP. So I did myself a huge favor by not overstaying my welcome, right? And just keeping it super simple. Although I didn't hit my daily goal for the day, I was very effective, right? I was able to make my money within 15 minutes and avoid the rest of the choppiness that ensued the rest of the day, right? So I was super, super grateful for that and, how it ended up playing out. But as far as what I'm looking out for the heading, into the rest of the week, well, are we going to start to see this thing break support and fall? If we are, I may, focus more on SQs. But if we see this thing start to push up and validate the green SMA line as a support, then maybe I can look into getting into TQs, right? So that's really all I'm looking out for, right? And I'm taking it day by day as a day trader should, right? But, that's pretty much everything I did want to talk about today with you guys. I hope you guys found this informative and useful at all in any way, but if you did, we really do appreciate you dropping a like and subscribing. It helps us out a ton. But other than that, if you guys have any questions at all, want me to break down any stock for you or stock indicator, go ahead and drop a comment, and I will be more than happy to do that myself in a future video. But that's pretty much everything. I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your day. I want to thank you guys so much again for your time, and as always, right, I'll be posting my recap tomorrow, so I hope to see you guys then. Take care and have a good rest of your day.